I saw that. Brick killed a guy.
I've been off of YouTube for almost 2 full years now. No real reason, just a combination of busyness and laziness on my part. I decided to log back into my YouTube account the other day and see how the old channel was doing, and I saw some new comments on one of my old videos. The video was on Squid Games, and my prediction that Season 2 would be a vast disappointment to fans of the franchise. Along with the slight uptick in views, all the recent comments were things like, "He called it," and "You saw the future." If you watched my first video, I think I made it clear why I thought the show was overrated and why I thought Season 2 would be a flop. So I'm not surprised to hear that fans of the series are agreeing with me now. Up until this point, I hadn't seen the second season, nor was I planning to. My first video wasn't really a hot take in my opinion. I really didn't expect much from Season 2. Regardless, after hearing the feedback, I decided to load up Netflix and see for myself. And after watching it, yeah, I was right. Season 2 wasn't bad, but it was a complete disappointment if you were waiting on the edge of your seat for 3 years. Fans seemed to expect the same level of intrigue they got in Season 1, but I don't think they should have. To me, this always seemed like a show that would have done well as a one-off season that left fans wanting more. Sadly, they didn't do that, so I'm dusting off my dead YouTube channel to discuss why Season 2 was always going to disappoint fans.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
The first problem that Squid Game 2 had that first season didn't have was the pacing. The whole season is only 7 episodes, 2 shorter than the first season, but it feels a lot slower. In Season 1, Gi-hoon is in the games halfway through the first episode. In Season 2, it takes him 2 whole episodes to see the inside of the games. In the meantime, we're watching Junho and Gi-hoon look for the games and the setup of a carnival worker who ends up being one of the Squid Game staff. That part, I will admit, was an interesting twist when they revealed it, but it didn't lead anywhere. I'm sure they'll pick it back up in Season 3, but in this season, that plotline seemed completely abandoned. Now, a problem that Season 2 had that Season 1 also had was the plot armor. It was even thicker this season. Anyone who had any sort of relationship with Gi-hoon or even had more than a couple minutes of screen time was spared until the very end. For a show about a death game, the stakes are shockingly low. After watching Season 1 especially, you knew that everyone was safe. And with that knowledge, most of the tension is removed. The cannon fodder's gonna die, and everyone, even the old lady who could definitely die to add some emotional stakes, will survive. The only person who died before the last couple of episodes was this girl, who had such little character development, I'm not even 100% sure that she had a name. When she was at the door dying, I thought she was the pregnant one, and I was thinking, finally, they're gonna do something interesting. But then the camera turns, and she's right there, so I didn't know who this was. I had to go back an episode to see that, oh, she's just the quiet girl who was part of the team during the last challenge. Again, no emotional stakes to this character from the audience. And even that subplot about that one guy who was super meek and timid and ended up letting the girl that he liked die while he cowered in his bunk, what was the point of that? He was never redeemed and he never stood up for himself or her. That seemed like the time to do it. I don't know, just one of the many unresolved plot threads at the end of Season 2.
It was just a magic act, Brenda.
You make 10 times what he makes. Why didn't you say that to him?
Gi-hoon is also so stupid. His entire reasoning for staying back in Season 1 instead of going to finally see his daughter was stupid. His plan to catch the people who run the game was stupid. His rebellion plan was stupid. There was no point in the show except for maybe in the first game where the audience was thinking, oh man, Gi-hoon really's got the upper hand in this one. Even with all of his blunders, I think the dumbest thing he did in Season 2 was probably blindly trust the front man. The inside man in the first round of the games was number 1. Entering the game, Gi-hoon has the attitude that he hacked the game, as witnessed by his behavior in red light, green light. So why isn't he suspicious at all that number 1 is in on it this time too? Especially after he beat the piss out of those guys, or even after his buddy said he saw something during one of the games. You think he'd be side-eyeing number 1 the entire time, to the point where it would have been almost too obvious for the game runners to use the same gag 2 times in a row. Gi-hoon blindly trusted the front man despite the fact that he absolutely should have known better. There's no logical reason for that other than Gi-hoon being a complete idiot.
I was worried for a second. Glad you made it.
People say I'm pretty friendly, so you know, I do all right in these kind of games.
Another problem I had in Season 1 that only got worse in Season 2 was the whole rationale for the games existing and why so many people are fine to go along with them. It makes no sense to me. The games as an organization seem to have unlimited soldiers ready to fight and die for them. They even have people on the outside, like the captain of the ship, who will kill and sabotage to keep people from finding the truth. It all has a very cult-like vibe to it, but we never get a rationalization for that. The only answer we ever get is money, but that's honestly not a good enough answer for me. I need to see some brainwashing, greater good level explanation for the games rather than a human horse race for rich people to enjoy. Otherwise, I can't wrap my head around why so many people are in on it without it ever leaking. Money would be a good enough explanation if it was a small operation with a handful of skillful psychopaths who just enjoy killing people. But what we see is an unlimited supply of regular people who seem to have no problem uncritically murdering others for no reason other than a paycheck. Saw makes enough sense to me. People come out of it and they feel like they have a new lease on life and get a sort of Stockholm Syndrome loyalty to help recreate the experience for others. Hostel makes enough sense to me. An underground market of drifters for psychopathic murderers to purchase and have their way with. Squid Game as a whole industry? How? We get the disappointing reason for the game's existence in Season 1. Entertainment. And the prize money wasn't enough to make even Gi-hoon go away. How are a seemingly unlimited number of guards just fine with murdering other people who are down on their luck, all for no other explanation than a paycheck? And money can't even be the only answer. Obviously, they don't pay their employees well enough, as we see the guards harvesting organs of the dead to make some extra money on the side. Which comes back to the main side plot that leads nowhere, number 11 in the organ harvesting operation.
Well, not that I believe in God. I don't. Not since that Chinaman stole my kidney.
Number 11 is made out to be some sort of ethical killer, something about ending the suffering of sad people who have no hope. The only problem with that is about half of these people want to leave. And in the first game, none of them even know what's about to happen. Like I said earlier, this will probably come back in Season 3, but there's several episodes that just feels like this whole subplot has been completely dropped, which adds to the lack of satisfaction we feel at the cliffhanger.
What are you doing? You know this is against the rules.
On the cliffhanger, I think that's a huge reason why a lot of people felt disappointed at Season 2. I said it in my first video, there were no threads to tie up in Season 1. The only thing left that the audience wanted to see was Gi-hoon reunite with his daughter. It feels like the showrunners artificially extended the story just to give us another season. They injected new reasons for us to care, but then gave us no resolution at the end. The ending feels like, again, like the first season, a reason to extend the hype. Unfortunately for them, I think it did the opposite. Fans waited 3 years for the new season and got zero satisfaction. Now we have to wait another year off a cliffhanger. Gi-hoon is captured. The crew is searching for the games on a boat where the captain is in on it. Number 11, who knows? Even this guy's left hanging. Will he ever grow a pair and stand up for himself? Tune in next season.
Oh, okay.
Before I end, I wanted to say that there were a few decent parts of Season 2. The score was as eerie as it was last season, as was the juxtaposition of the colorful set pieces against the brutality of the games. I think that's a big reason why so many people liked the first season, but it wasn't enough to carry it this time. As I said before, the twist of number 11 being employee of the games rather than a contestant was a good one. Most of the games were also decent enough not to complain about. But that's pretty much the end of the list for me. Certainly not enough to follow up one of the most hyped shows in recent memory. Obviously, I wasn't surprised. I thought Season 1 was wildly overrated. With everyone dead and Gi-hoon out, it really didn't feel like there was anything interesting left to watch. Again, all we really wanted to see was Gi-hoon reunite with his daughter, but that's 15 minutes they could have just put at the end. Season 3 will probably be much of the same. I don't think it'll be disappointing necessarily, but that's only because fans were so disappointed by Season 2. But I do think the numbers will drop. I'm gonna have to be pretty content starved to load up Season 3 when it drops later this year. How will Gi-hoon get his way out of this one? I don't really care. As for my YouTube channel, if anyone cares about that, I do plan to make new videos. I've had some ideas for videos that I want to make, but it's hard to get started again after taking such a long break. Hopefully this video will spark my inspiration again, and I can get back to regularly creating content. I do enjoy the process, and I know there was a small group of people who really enjoyed my videos that I feel like I abandoned. Here's to 2025. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.